much student debt do you have? I have over $90,000, I think, and growing. I try not to pay too much attention. One of the more compelling arguments I've heard coming from the different occupations, something that draws them all together, is this idea that education is a human right and should be free through graduate school, even, like some other countries in Europe do. Today I came across this idea, taking it slightly different form, in someone trying to form a union amongst people in student debt. Might be the largest union yet in the United States.
My name is Monica Johnson, and a year and a half ago in 2010 I started the EDU Debtors Union, which right now is just, it's a website and it's a proposition. We have a Facebook group and a Twitter page. And I started this organization because right now there aren't a whole lot of options for people to repay student loans. And one of our slogans is freedom through mass defaults. That's not because we advocate for that. What we actually advocate for is options. One of the reasons why anybody with student debt has very limited options is that there are no bankruptcy protections for any student loans. This is the only student loan, or this is the only loan in all of U.S. history that you can't ever default on. You can't ever discharge this with bankruptcy. So, the idea of the EDU Debtors Union is based on the labor union model, and what they did effectively when our economy was very different, when there was so-called unskilled labor. They negotiated with the factories for better working conditions so that they could go back to work. Just that same way, the EDU Debtors Union could renegotiate a better contract or arrangement with our lenders so that we can repay our loans.
So mass default then becomes the equivalent of the tactic of last resort that unions use in strike. Is that a parallel?
It's exactly a parallel. It's employing an autonomous strategy of refusal. So you refuse to do something, you're saying no to something in favor of making things better. When Congress raises loan limits, schools respond to those increased loan limits by raising tuition because they think that students can afford to pay more because they're actually allowed more loan money.
So the argument that you must face all the time is someone said, look, you knew what you were getting into, you signed on the dotted line, you knew the terms of the loan. Your response to that argument, pay up, basically. Stop bellyaching. Your response to that argument would be what?
Nobody really has the option to expect to get a job, a comfortable job, and not go to college. I mean, we don't have a workforce, we don't have an unskilled workforce anymore. So after high school, it's like, what are you going to study in college to get a job? I mean, it's socially irresponsible within this, for the workforce that we have right now, it's socially irresponsible not to go to school because the entire workforce is predicated on higher education. So when you're talking to admissions counselors and...
Isn't that an argument for free education? That's why we give free education through high school.
Yeah, well, I think it is too. I think that is, but I think our education system hasn't caught up to our economy yet. And that's one of the problems, and that's where this problem is coming in. That's why people are speaking up. That's why I'm here.
The range of remedies you are recommending to people who are saddled with unreasonable student debt would be, just to sum up,
come together and refuse to participate in a system that is making it impossible to get out of debt. Say no to that system by mass defaults in order to renegotiate a better plan.